I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Fei Wu. I had to do that, folks. It was just, too tempting. Fei, how are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I am doing great. I'm based in Boston and it is evening here and it's a rainy one, but I'm, feeling really good. A lot of good things happening in my life. I'm very grateful of all that.
I love that. I'm glad to know that. Please do tell us, which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
I'm not sure, but I really like to know, I like to think it's the fact that we're both podcasters.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Tell us all about your podcast and where we can connect to find out more and listen to more.
I appreciate you asking. So it's called Feisworld. I need to spell that, which is F as in Frank, EISWORLD.com. It is a show created for what I like to call unsung heroes and self-made artists. And the reason for creating that was at some point about 3 years ago, I got tired of listening to exclusive group of men interviewing each other, and they all need to be top 1% making a certain amount of money. So that's why I really like the fact that you're interviewing a variety of people, and so many of them, many more than my guests at this point. So it's just so interesting and very, very addictive to me to do this.
It is. Interesting. I think the uniqueness in podcasting, it's like two things that go together. Like you say podcasting, you think uniqueness. You say uniqueness, you think podcasting. It's a really filtered, if you would, audience, isn't it? And for every genre of conversations. It's pretty fascinating, isn't it, Fei?
Absolutely. I think also, as you know very well, the more people you talk to, almost feels like the smarter and certainly the more worldly that you get to be. And you become more than just yourself, right? You look kind of outside of who you are and where you are in your life. It's really fascinating.
The technology gives us a grand opportunity to travel miles with our voice, right? So who did you learn this skill from? The skill of being able to capitalize on what a conversation can bring to you?
I think I definitely learned a lot along the way. And I want to just say that I, did not study audio engineering, or I didn't really go to film school or communication school. So I do want to say, preface with the fact that I had a very rare opportunity when I was 15 to have a radio show when I was living in Beijing. So I had the pleasure to work for China National Radio Station between the ages of 15 and 16. So that was a very professional, very high-end radio station. I was very nervous, but I learned a lot along the way. I think some of those skills really transfer to what I'm able to do today, but with the maturity and I guess, traveling around the world and pay attention to conversations and, comes sort of naturally for me because I'm really interested in people's lives.
Yeah. Why will you continue to repeat this skill? It definitely takes some input from your side, right? Being the person who actually starts the conversations or who has the equipment or who is dealing with the tech. There's always challenges, right? But why will you continue, Fei, to repeat this skill?
I think we learn, and like you said, like the glitches we had on Skype, it's part of the journey. And the huge difference between people who enjoy podcasting versus the one who really stick around, like you and I have, there's a really big difference and you gain so much. I'm not sure if you knew this, but on average, most podcasts will die off or disappear within 15 episodes. And most podcasts will go away within 3 months, and then on average about 15 episodes or less. But people who continue doing that certainly gain so much pleasure out of that. And I know that I do during what I call before, during, and after the interview. I just get this natural high. You don't need any drugs for that. You just you feel the high, right? You become a different person.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I was just speaking. So the episode before you is going to be Victor Alapini, and he is in Australia. And just a few minutes, I was speaking with him, and he actually expressed that same statistic, right? And it's really fascinating how things connect. And I mean, you've
Crazy.
never spoken with him, right? And he said that
I never
exact
did.
thing. Yeah, so it's really fascinating. Tell me one other thing you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
So, if you don't mind, it's so funny. It's about the third anniversary for Feisworld Podcast coming up at the end of October.
Oh, sweet.
I know when I saw that question, I was like, well, that's really interesting.
That's
So that's something I've been doing consistently for the past 3 years. But to kind of give you a different idea of other things I've been doing, I've been freelancing officially for the past 2 years. But honestly, even the year before I went off full-time freelancing, I already start picking up clients and really start to craft my own branding, what I was going to do. And the third thing I've been doing consistently for 3 years is martial arts. So I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, consistently for more than the past 3 years. But it's a very important part of my life.
It's third degree, isn't it, right?
Yeah, I have a 3rd degree black belt.
Yeah.
Well, you paid attention. Wow, you did your homework.
I did. So tell me, how does it make you feel? Like being consistently on more than one thing?
I think we all need structure in our lives. I'm less so than most people. I kind of create my own structure, but as when you have now over 1,000 episodes, that's kind of your tribe. And I think when you do anything consistently for 3 years, you build your own tribe and people around you that make you feel good, makes you feel sort of the best version of yourself. That's how I feel.
Yeah, you're definitely hitting some keywords that run really close to me and what I've really unveiled through the podcast. Why would you suggest someone do that? Someone out there who, who may be afraid of going for it, right? That they may just be that person who is 15 and under. What would you suggest to them?
I think life is too short. When you look back on a lot of the things that you might not have given a shot, right? You're often filled with regrets. And, I was going to save this quote, but I always tell my friends something I truly believe in is you always have more options than you think. So, give yourself a chance because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? We have to give ourselves a chance.
Love it. Amazing audience. We are live here with Fei. Fei has an amazing podcast, Fei Wu, Fei's World. Do check that out, right? Fei, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Fei, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest memory, as weird as it sounds, I think I was about 2 years old and I was drawing a pigeon of some sort on the wall inside my house. And my parents always remember the story so fondly and they keep repeating. But the weirdest thing that I always remember doing that. So I think I'm deep down, I am an artist at heart, and I love to paint. And that's something I really want to really get back to on a more consistent basis as well.
Interesting. So you said a pigeon. Did you say that?
Yeah, like a peace, like a peace symbol. Like a peace pigeon.
Interesting. So this is not the bird pigeon. This is the symbol, the peace type symbol, like the Mercedes-Benz sign, right?
Yeah, like something a slightly animated, almost like I guess I should call it not a pigeon. I guess it's like a dove, sort of bird.
Cool.
Yeah.
So why do you think this memory is so clear?
I think it was because I think it's very symbolic to my life today, and we look back to our youngest memories and realize that before our minds were preoccupied by the education from our parents or from school, who are we meant to be? Who are we meant to become? And that was always really fascinating to me. And there's certainly a lot of research these days around that, but it's always unclear to most people. They wish that they wish that that question could be answered for them. But I think I have that on my mind. And I truly believe that everybody can be an artist, whether they can be a painter or otherwise. But to create something on our own is a very powerful feeling. You created I know I keep going back to your podcast, but you literally created this completely on your own. Nobody told you to, and then you look back, as you scroll as a podcast, you scroll through in iTunes, isn't it an astonishing feeling how much you've done and accomplished?
Yeah, it is. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Sure, please tell me.
I love the fact that the canvas is there and you allowed the dove / pigeon to be set free. And it, for me, represents the messenger. It was used as an animal to deliver messages, right? Long ago, this is long ago, as the messenger. You tie the message and it'll go and then return, right? But it's fascinating that you are now a messenger and in your art form, and that for me is so beautiful. But
wow,
yeah, just the fact
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, you've done that, right? So, and I mean, just to go a bit deeper, your parents gave you the tools to do that, right? To be able to do that. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
I'm so embarrassed to admit that, but I was crazy for the Hanson Brothers. They were also around that age. So my favorite song was Bob from Hanson.
It's cool.
I know. I was 12.
All right, Fei, so we have arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. Fei, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, I have. That's an ongoing process. I was part of a ELT MBA. It's a online MBA course by Seth Godin, and I am actually passing on the podcasting skills to a bunch of podcasters from that group. And in terms of Taekwondo, I still teach young children these days, and to pass on my skills that way as well. Young kids and teenagers.
Love it. Are you married?
No, I am not.
Do you have children?
I don't, but I love to have children. 2 to be ideal, but I will be happy with 1 as well. Do you have children?
I do. I have 2 children. I know it's challenging as a podcaster not to ask questions. So yeah, you go ahead and be free. Okay. Do you believe in God?
I do. I'm not a Christian, and I believe in universe and earth, and but I do believe the idea of God.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Very much so. I am kind of an introverted extrovert. People hate when I say that, but I do have a very close network of friends, probably less than 5, who are incredibly close and intimate. So.
What about TV? Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Absolutely not, because as you know, podcasters don't have time for that.
What about 3 hours a week?
Possibly, yes. I do enjoy watching TV shows, and gives me a chance to relax and to learn too.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, what about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Unfortunately, it's way more than 8 hours a day. There's a lot of editing and all that. And I also do freelance work. So nearly all my work is done on a computer. I do force myself, however, to break away from my computer and go swimming nearly every single day, where, at any opportunity I can be completely unplugged. I do that. Go for a walk, enjoying myself.
Love it. Fei, after having 1,001 conversations, I came up with a workbook that's called Yours, and it stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. And connected to that is your own unique real stance, your own unique real style, your own unique real statement. I'd like to know your own unique real statement, your mission, if you will, that represents Fei Wu.
So I have many on my mind. Since I only get to say one, I will repeat what I mentioned earlier. It's a message to everybody who feels stuck or fearful, or feel like they cannot take the leap, where they cannot make a ruckus. My statement is, you always have more options than you think, and give yourself a chance.
Love it. Fei Wu, this was a great pleasure. What does Fei Wu mean?
So it's a Chinese name, my origin, and Wu is the last name, and Fei actually doesn't really mean all that much, but I know in English it means a fairy. And yeah, it's not a very meaningful name because it's hard to explain. People with the last name Wu, W-U, it's hard for those families to give their children names because Wu in Chinese means nothing. So you don't want anything to come after nothing.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Hey, Fei, this was a great pleasure. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
No, thank you so much, Angel. You're very generous, and I hope you keep doing this. Keep
you.
making ruckus.
Thank you. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.